Well, another day, and yes, another update on Arlington Heights. Welcome in. I'm Brandon. It's May the 7th, and here's your Bears latest. Last night, Arlington Heights sworn in their new mayor for the city. His name is James Tenaglia. Why do you need to know this? Why is this of importance? Because this guy is also an architect, the same architect that is being tasked with developing Arlington Heights. And yes, that does include the piece of property that the Bears bought at the old racetrack there that they are looking to develop into the next home of the Bears. Very, very interesting stuff. The other thing that is of interest and of an intrigue here is that right before their new mayor came to be sworn in, he had just come from a meeting with none other than Kevin Warren. Folks, Arlington Heights is probably the worst kept secret. It is looking more and more like a reality by the day. Kevin Warren said there will be shovels in the ground by the end of 2025. He didn't say specifically where, but all the signs, folks, point directly to Arlington Heights. Why would you invest that amount of money into land there if you're not going to do anything with it and you're not going to put a stadium there? It's time for the Bears to join the rest of the other successful franchises in the NFL with getting a stadium that is owned by them and they're able to make profit. And it's solely for the team. We're not leasing buildings out. We're not having to rely on capital improvements from, the city parks department or whatever. We are going to finally have our own piece of property. It is time for the Bears to join the ranks of the elite. And right here is pretty much a foregone conclusion that the Bears are going to Arlington Heights. They are not staying in the city. They are not going to Northwest Indiana. They are going to the Northwest suburbs, Arlington Heights. It just makes sense. And I would imagine probably in the next couple of months, you're going to hear some news that shovels are in the ground and that we're going to be looking at a 2027, 2028 ETA for that stadium. So sit back, relax, or just be sitting there and waiting with bated breath as we all find out what is going to be reality, that the Bears are going to Arlington Heights. End of story. I'll leave it at that. Let's move on. Alice Hall upgrades. You're like, geez, Brandon, why are we talking all of this non-important Bears news? Well, here's why. Because it affects the players, it affects morale, it affects the organization, and you want your players to be getting the best that they can from the organization that they work for. And every year when you go into the off season, there's always report cards that are done for each of the 32 teams. And they basically offer a letter grade for different categories, such as head coach, facilities, whether that's, training rooms, also dining halls, and food in particular. How families are treated is a very big one. And looking at the Bears off-season report card, this was done by the players. The Bears didn't score very well in a few different areas. They received C+ markings, which sounds like it's not so bad because there are some teams in the NFL that do get Fs or, or a D or something like that. But in my mind, if you're getting a C+, that's a major area for improvement. And when you're talking a C+ for a head coach, for food and dining, and for treatment of families, those are absolutely important because these are things that agents and, primarily players and their agents look at when they're trying to figure out where they want to go during free agency. It's important that they're going somewhere where they're going to be treated well and they're valued and appreciated, not just them, but the people that are coming to support them. And so, reason why we're bringing this up is that Halas Hall has been taking this extremely serious, and we've already made the upgraded head coach. We are now turning our attention to the food and dining experience there at Halas Hall. And the Bears just entered a partnership with Jeff Morrow. And you're probably like, Jeff Morrow, huh? Who? Jeff Morrow is a celebrity chef. He is better known for being on the Food Network's show, The Kitchen. He is all about Chicago. He is a Chicago guy. He used to have a chain of restaurants in and around the area called Pork and Mindy's. The guy loves cooking pork, bacon. He loves Chicago food, Chicago flair. Loves helping the city of Chicago, and now he's going to be working closely with the Bears in coming up with menus, food options that are going to be nutritional and good for all of our players. And maybe who knows, if the Bears move into Arlington Heights, you might even see an upgrade in food in restaurants around the stadium. But for right now, the focus is getting a better food experience for our players. And I think nutrition is absolutely key, because that's going to benefit with how they're able to maintain over the course of a 17-game season. And again, this is just also, the experience is just another morale booster. This also shows how much that organizations value what food is being put into the players' bodies. It's an important thing. So if you've never heard of Jeff Morrow before, go on YouTube, or go on if you have like Food Network streaming or something like that. Look up some of his episodes and look up some of his recipes. He is phenomenal. He is outgoing, and he's a very caring guy. So kudos, Chicago. Congrats, Jeff. Can't wait to hear more about this as the off season and as we get into this season goes. Now, let's get into the more palpable things that you were probably wondering why we didn't start with in the first place. I wanted to get the organizational things out of the way first, really talking about the nuts and bolts of stadium and some internal things going on at Halas Hall. But I came across an article earlier today about Tyson Bagent, that the Bears, according to Courtney Cronin, are very interested in signing Tyson Bagent long term. He's coming into his final year on his contract, and it sounds like Halas Hall and company, they want to secure him long term as our backup to Caleb Williams. But here's the problem, folks. When Tyson Bagent has played, he's played pretty well. And comparing him to some of the other quarterbacks in the league, Tyson could have a decent chance of starting for a team. He's hardworking. He's very, he's a perfectionist. He always trains hard, and he takes the job serious, and he's got a great sense of humor to go along with it. Not that great sense of humor trumps, everything in terms of intangibles and skills and such. But he's a very capable backup, a very strong backup that can start in this league. And it would not surprise me if the Bears did one of two things. One, you extend him, just like you're saying, making sure that him and Caleb are there together, and you've got Case Keenum this year, and that quarterback room just continues to gel and get better. Or number two, you do look for a team, since he's in his last year. maybe sell high on him. Try to get what you can for him. Maybe you can get a day 3 pick, an early day 3 pick for him or something. That's a possibility. Or door number 3, which is you let him back up this year and then he walks and you get nothing for him. And I feel like if you're really serious about wanting to maybe move on from him and allow him an opportunity that maybe he would not get in Chicago, then maybe you'll do him a solid like Poles did with Justin Fields when he traded him to Pittsburgh. The only thing is I would like to get something better in return than a friggin' 6th-round pick, which, I mean, still got value, but we should have done better there. And but Ryan was doing right by Justin and everything, and trying to get him a logical place to go where he could improve and thrive. If we do something like that with Bagent, it's going to have to make sense. We got to get something for him, and if you don't think you're going to be able to get draft compensation or whatever that you like, then you don't do it. You do sign this guy then and have him as a long-term backup, because, hey, what happens if Caleb does go down? Maybe year 3 he goes down. You want to have a guy like Tyson Bagent ready to go at the drop of a hat. Bagent is smart. He's a quick learner. He's hardworking, and I see him as a guy that Ben Johnson wants on staff there, in that quarterback room, totally 110%. So, and if they did let him walk, the next option that you have to bring in is Austin Reed, which he was on the practice squad last season. We got him as an undrafted free agent last year. You could put him in there as a number 3 and elevate Keenum to number 2. I don't think this helps at all. I think you need to work with Tyson and come up with a pact that is going to work for both sides. Because I think Tyson loves being here. The Bears obviously love him. So maybe we'll be seeing an extension here sometime soon, maybe in the next couple of months. So stay tuned on that. And last but not least, we said another day, another Arlington Heights update. Well, guess what? Another day and another running back high update and update rumor. And this one's a little bit different. We've talked about Nick Chubb, obviously. We've talked about J.K. Dobbins, which I've been beating the table for J.K. Dobbins. Now we're looking at Jamal Williams. So Jamal Williams used to play for Ben Johnson up in Detroit and had a very productive 2022 season with Ben Johnson at the helm. He ran 1,066 yards, had a ridiculous 17 touchdowns on the ground. NFL best for that season. 17. He was very productive. And because of that, he ended up signing a free agent contract with the New Orleans Saints. And he had now spent the past 2 seasons there. And it sounds like they have not been using him well. They haven't utilized him like they probably should. Plus, you got a dude down there by the name of Alvin Kamara that probably makes things a lot more difficult. But a guy that is like Jamal Williams, who in 2 seasons there has rushed for only 470 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2 seasons combined. That's scary. You go from a nearly 1,100-yard rusher in 22 to somebody who could only muster just below 500 yards in 2 seasons combined. That shows me right there that he's not being used right, or he's not getting touches. And so it leads me to believe that this guy, who I believe is pushing 30 here, I think since he wasn't used as well last season, I think you take a chance and you could sign him to a 1-year deal. Because here's the thing. if it's a low risk, potentially high reward if you find a guy that could pair with DeAndre Swift and be a workhorse for you. Plus, it would still give Kyle Monangai a chance to still get some touches in the game. He can relieve, and yeah, or if we're in like a situation where maybe we're up by a lot or we're down by a lot, it's a great opportunity to then move over to letting some of the younger guys get in there and then rest your workhorses. I kind of like it. The only thing is I feel like we already have a Jamal Williams on our roster, and his name is Roschon Johnson. I feel like you're basically signing another Roschon here. He's about the same type of build, very, very physical runner. Can run the lanes and everything. I think you're basically signing the same guy. So I feel like that doesn't make complete sense for just a 1-year deal. I mean, it is only a 1-year deal and it doesn't cost you much. You're not putting yourself in a cap hell or anything like that whatsoever. But if you're going to do him or J.K. Dobbins, I'm still going J.K. Dobbins. I mean, he's younger. He had a good season there in L.A., and I think Ben can utilize him. Some people have been leaving some posts in some of our previous videos asking, "Hey, Brandon, if somebody like Dobbins or Chubb or one of these guys, is a real target for us, do you see them being signed before June?" And I think the answer right now, I think a guy like Dobbins could be a maybe. But I think a guy like Nick Chubb, they're going to hold out for because they want to make sure that he's fully healed. I think Jamal Williams could still be hanging around for a while just because he's had those 2 unproductive seasons. So I think it might scare a couple of teams off right now. But plus, I feel like you just came off the draft. You're getting ready to go into rookie camp. You've got OTAs coming up. You want to see what you currently have in there. And before you start going out and just free spending there and just trying to overpay or at least pay for somebody you may not even need on your roster. You might already have that kind of guy on there. I think there's going to be a lot of evaluations over these next handful of weeks, and I think then it will shed some light. But I feel like right now, I feel like all the other teams in the NFL are about right on par with where the Bears are at. I think it's going to be a wait and see. And I think once you turn the page to June, I think you'll start seeing some of those signings happen. I kind of liken it to MLB in recent memory. You see a lot of stars that are holding out for top dollar or being able to get more options or things like that or have opt-out clauses. So you see a lot of players end up staying free agents until late January, early February. As a Cubs fan, we dealt with that with Cody Bellinger the other year. And, it's there's tons of players in the league that are doing that now. The same type of thing is happening here in the NFL. So I think that we will not be moving on another position player until June because we need to evaluate. This staff needs to evaluate who they have in there right now. So before we get out of here today, guys, I just want to let you know that the next 2 days are Thursday and our Friday shows. I've got some special segments that I'm gonna be putting together. So tomorrow on Thursday, we are going to cover, start getting into the upcoming schedule. As you know, the schedule reveal is going to be next week. And so we're going to start talking about the teams that we know already that we're going to be playing. We're going to kind of make some early on projections on who we might be beating or losing to, and just coming up with just a projected record for the season. Are we playoff bound? Are we not playoff bound? What games are pretty obvious that we can win? What are some that we may just get by on? What are some other ones where it's like, oh God, we're not ready yet? So stay tuned to that. That's going to be on Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to talk a little bit about um, the early on projected 53-man roster. I'm going to start making some guesses and some projections on who I feel is going to make that 53, and then to also talk about who is going to be on the practice squad. So stay tuned for that. That'll be on Friday's episode. And as always, guys, thank you for tuning in and listening. Give us a like. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Any questions, anything you want me to dive into. If you're like, or you're like, Brandon, hey, let's not talk about cafeteria food anymore. Oh my God, dude, really? Can you come up with something? Like, leave some suggestions. I always promise to deliver Bears-centered news for you guys, and that's all the way down to talking about better nutrition for our players. So, without further ado, I'm getting out of here for today. Again, bear down. We'll see you tomorrow.